One of the things that prevents many model railroaders from actually getting started building a layout is that they don't feel like they have enough woodworking skill and they don't have the right tools. Well, basically you can build a model railroad with just a simple drill and a saw of some sort, and probably the best basic saw you can use is a jigsaw or a reciprocating saw like this one I have here. With that, you can make almost any cut you need to out of plywood, dimensional lumber, and things of that nature. And so let me show you some easy techniques on how to get nice straight cuts, especially on sheet goods and things like masonite. I've got a scrap piece of 1/4-inch masonite here, and let's assume that I want a 2-inch strip cut off this. I'm going to use for fascia somewhere on the layout. I want a nice, even, straight cut. In order to get that, what I've done is I've first marked my 2-inch line on the masonite. Now, I can freehand it with the jigsaw, but my freehanding cutting still isn't all that great, and it could wind up pretty wobbly. But what we can do is we can use a straight edge and clamp all this together, run the saw along, and make a nice clean edge. So let me show you how to do that. What you need to do is first measure between the blade and the edge of the saw from the side that you're going to cut from normally. Now, I know on this particular saw that's a 1 5/16 inch gap. And so what we're going to do is actually measure that out onto our sheet of masonite. So I've already got my mark at 2 inches where I want to make my cut. And then I measure up 1 5/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And put in a mark. Okay. With the marks on here, now all I need to do is line in a straight edge that I can use as a guide to run the saw across. And for my straight edge, I'm just going to use a piece of 1x4. I'll line up my straight edge along one mark on the end. Just use a quick release clamp here. Okay. Line up the other mark and clamp. All right, we're pretty much ready to begin, but before we do, we want to make sure that our saw blade actually is right where it should be on the line, and it is, so that we still wind up with a 2-inch piece when we're done. All right, let's let her rip. Now you've got a nice straight cut, and this should fit perfectly against other straight cuts that you make. Let me show you the same sort of technique to use with dimensional lumber. Let's say you want to take and cut off a section of this board in order to make a nice clean cut again for pieces that are going to fit together to form benchwork. Using our jigsaw again, and then this time, this handy little thing. This is called a roofer's speed square, and basically it is just a heavy steel triangle. It's got a bunch of nice numbers and markings on it. So we're going to use this as our guide this time instead of our 1x4, and we'll need a clamp again, but this is pretty fast and easy. Let me show you how to do it. Just for the sake of it, let's say that we need to lop 2 inches off of this. I've got my 2-inch marked. And now we'll take an account again for the 1 5/8 inches for our saw. Get the mark there, and there. Now for this operation, we actually need to be down on the end of our workbench space. We'll come in with our clamp, line up our edges, clamp it in position. And then just so it doesn't wobble since I'm cutting on the end, I'm going to put a second clamp in on the end. There we go. And we're right where we should be. All right, there we go. Got a sanding block handy, and so we'll just clean up our cut edge nicely. All right, there we go. That piece is now ready to be used in the layout. This is an easy technique that you can use to basically make your jigsaw do the stuff you need it to do to build a model railroad. Give it a shot.